Thursday, 7 o'clock. Garnet Old, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan. That's Vince. Vince, how the hell are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Ryan. It's been a
Uneventful week.
It's been an uneventful week. My wife turned a certain age this year, and we had a great
30.
dinner for her. 30, I believe. 30 is the magic number.
Yeah.
So we had a great birthday dinner for her. So far so good this week.
You know how I'm feeling, Vince?
You're feeling in the doldrums. You're in the doldrums, right?
Oh no, Vince! Look what have I done?
Wait, that's too small. You need to make that bigger. That's what she said.
I got you. This is how
I'm feeling. There you go.
Yes. This has been me all week, listening to every major podcast for all Florida State shows. That's just the constant feeling I'm in, Vince, is depression, because I know my brain tells me that we're playing Notre Dame this week.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy football, and you put those two things together, and generally what that would mean is I'm planning my whole Saturday around this weekend. But instead, now there's two things happening. One, we suck. Two, I'm moving, which means that I get my keys next week, which means that the boxes, Vince.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're wait till you see my new studio, though. I got plans for it now. It won't be done in the first week there, but I've got it all planned out.
You have concepts of a studio.
I promise you this, within a month of moving date, I will have completely redone my lighting, which it's not bad right now. There's nothing wrong with it. There won't be blinds behind me because I'll be in an actual room with a blank canvas background, which is important in podcasting. And some kind of, I don't know. And even, I'm thinking, Vince, tell me what you think about this. Two like tall bookshelves, right? Like right here. Let's say these were bookshelves.
Mm-hmm.
With maybe some swag or some Florida State items, little by little. And then in the middle, our old banner that I'm going to use that you used to have, and then put some lights highlighting it.
Love it. Yeah, that's gonna look really, really nice. Looking forward to that. I know moving's a drag, brother. And if I was there,
we're moving to a bigger house. It's easier to pack and move into a bigger space than pack a bigger space into a smaller, like we did this here.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome everybody to Garnet Old. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. If you're taking the time to watch us on Thursday night when the team is abysmal, I applaud you. And I wish there was something else I could do for you. Ryan and I were talking earlier today about what this show was going to be about, and literally what you saw on the thumbnail is what I came up with. Yeah, we got nothing. As a matter of fact, today saw some things blown around about losing another recruit. So we can talk more about that as part of this show as well. But I have a different take on that than maybe a lot of people do.
Yeah. So first of all, Vince, tell the people, what are you going to be doing for the game?
I'm not really sure. I'm going to watch the game, but because of life, and what I mean by that is because of Ryan's upheaval in his life, in a good way, we will not be participating at Fishweir Brewing this weekend. So we had normally planned to have a live show at the brewery here in Jacksonville, but that will not be happening. Shannon and I may still go just to hang out with some Noles to watch the game. But just to let everybody know, We had a good turnout the last time, but Garnet Old won't be live from Fishweir this weekend.
Which is unfortunate, but can I be honest with you?
Well, I knew you were excited to drive all the way up here.
Well, the moving is the not fun part, but what I am excited about Vince is look at our followers in the chat, because these are the real people.
Yeah, these are the people that they're just diehards. R. Wilmer, Kenny Trill, thank you so much. I know, Ryan, we were talking to some other friends of ours that do shows, and it's tough out here in these streets. But as R. Wilmer points out, there are some positives to talk about. And we should do that. We'll talk more about some of the other sports that are doing really well.
Vince, tell people what we just got done doing.
Oh, yeah. So, boy, Ryan, you're throwing it all my way. You must be taking a call right now. So we just finished a members only show at 6:30. And so you want to know what that is? That is a show that if you are a member of our channel on YouTube, we do a members only show every other week. We start that at 6:30 and it usually runs about 20-25 minutes. It's a little more casual and a little more, behind the brains of one Ryan and one Vince, which they're not a lot behind there, by the way. But we had a great discussion on the members only show just a few minutes ago, Ryan.
Yeah, I like the idea behind it. And by the way, you can get that conversation by becoming a YouTube member and hitting the join button and have exclusive conversations.
There are 3 levels to choose from, or are there more? I can't remember.
There are more.
Okay.
But Vince, we're here to talk about Florida State. I'm gonna hold off on some of my more aggressive opinions.
Yeah.
Till later, but let's talk about the Notre Dame game.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? What do you thought about Notre Dame?
Yeah, before you jump headlong into that, let me just say that because I want to wrap up the members only show we just did. Ryan and I had a conversation about how a possibility on how to solve the ridiculous coaches contracts that every major school has to deal with. We'll just leave it there. Okay. Let's talk about Notre Dame.
Yeah. So are you impressed with them?
They lost to Northern Illinois, did they not?
Yes.
Yeah, they lost a game. I think it was Northern Illinois. But anyway, am I impressed with them? I'm impressed enough to know that we are going to get obliterated this weekend.
Which is
am I impressed with them in a normal season? No, I don't think they're a great team at all.
Perfect. That's what I thought. Vince. Now they are going to make the playoffs if they keep winning.
Sure.
Now, do you think they deserve it based on their schedule? If that is the case,
absolutely not. They do not deserve.
Indiana deserves it.
Let's see, Indiana. If they keep winning, yeah.
It's amazing how if you win a lot and undefeated, and you tend to make things. But how I feel about Notre Dame is they're fine. I think they're slightly above average. Yeah, they're above average. They would beat 3/4 of the programs in the ACC.
Yep.
They would probably compete score for score with Miami in any game. I think Clemson is a better matchup for them, a worse matchup for them as far as potential losing than Miami. It seems like I want to get into Miami later just for fun, but Notre Dame generally, I would be thinking we should be able to, as Florida State normal. If we were at our normal level, an average level, let's say if we were a 9-win team at the end of the year, I would go into this game saying probably a pretty even matchup. Could go
Yeah.
either way. But it's not an even matchup right now, and it won't go either way. That's why I'm sad.
Yeah. I think if Florida State is, forget about, 13-1 Florida State. Think about like a 10-3 Florida State. A 10-3 Florida State would beat that team.
Yeah.
Would beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, 2
And
years ago.
I would probably venture to say they would win by 10 to 14 points.
Agreed. In this case, I think we could lose by 40.
It's possible.
I know he doesn't include us, which I gave him crap about last week. Nole GIFs, or Nole GIFs, depending on how you want to protect, always compiles a list of all the Florida State shows and what their predictions for the games were.
Yeah,
And then,
he does a good job with that.
and then he picks who is closest. Well, if he had included us, would have been the closest last week. I picked 35-10, and the score was 35-11. This week, and I'm just going to give my score because it's a good talking point for how I'm feeling about it. I think we're going to lose this game 52-7. I think Mac Brown is an old school guy, class act that you could tell he called off the dogs, and kudos to him. I mean, the exact opposite of what the week before Miami, intentionally going for 2 and things like that. I don't think we're going to get that. I think Notre Dame needs style points right now because they want to solidify their spot that they're a college football playoff team. It matters. It does. And I don't think they're going to let up. So I expect this to be our worst loss as far as score of the year.
Listen, one of the things that comes with wearing this logo is that when you're down, people are not going to take pity on you, and they shouldn't.
No pity
So
sausage.
it is, we're gonna wear it all season long. By the way, I wanted to make a comment here. I don't know, Ryan, if you're seeing, but the YouTube comments are not coming into the studio. So they've stopped coming in. The last one I see is from R. Wilmer that says a lot of positives to talk about. Is that the last one you see?
Yes, that is odd.
So yeah, so they're not coming in for some reason. I want to let everybody know that we are seeing the comments because I have the actual YouTube feed up as well.
I do as well now. I just hopped over there.
Yeah, so I'm seeing the other comments. We're not ignoring them. I just noticed that they're not being pulled into the studios. I don't know why that is, but
Vince, this is a good opportunity to tell them how they can.
Say that again. Sorry.
This is a great opportunity to tell them how they can talk to us on the show right now.
Oh boy, we're going to give it a try, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
So when we're thinking about like how to make this show more fun, we're going to open up the phone lines here. And if you've got something to chat about, you want to get a rant off, try to make it as family friendly as you can. But we'll leave the phone line open there, and feel free to call in, and we will chat with you. But I wanted to the reason why I brought that up is I wanted to let everybody know we are seeing the comments, but it's actually in YouTube. Basketball looks pretty good. The women's basketball team bludgeoned, who was it, UNF, I think 119 to something. But yeah, so the other teams doing fine. The soccer team, women's soccer team won as well. Oh, that reminds me, Ryan. The other day, the Florida State hockey team was playing here in Jacksonville. And Shannon and I went to the ice rink to watch them play and beat the Gators. So how about that?
How was it?
It was awesome, dude. If you are a Nole living in the northeast part of Florida, Florida State hockey team plays here in Jacksonville at the Iceman Arena there, and you can go watch them.
Fantastic. So Vince, tell me your feelings on this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at probably 28-31 point win for Notre Dame. I do not see us breaking 20. And I do not see us hitting the 300-yard mark.
What do you see us hitting yards wise?
Probably 260,
Oh,
61.
Vince, you have so much love in your heart. What was the total offense last week? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't remember.
I'm not,
225.
I want to look it up. It
Yeah,
makes
do
me
that.
sad. I'm
While
going to
you're
go
doing that,
150 yards or less.
oh gosh. R. Wilmer's taking the more optimistic side. It's a place where miracles happen. So that's good. Touchdown Jesus will look down from across the way and look at our freshmen and sophomores and think, these guys need a break for not giving up and working hard. So we are relying on the goodwill and province of touchdown Jesus to show us some love.
Yeah, total yards last week, Vince, 201.
Oh, yeah. Ouch.
Definitely. And while I was looking at that, I don't know. This isn't going to work. I was going to try to show it, but it's fine. While I was looking at that, yeah, it'll be hard to see. I don't know why it's coming out this way, but it was depressing to look at this, Vince. I know it's dark. Look at all those L's. Look at all those L's.
Oh, it's troubling. Something's
Now
going on here with the phone number.
we got comments broken. We got phone numbers broken. Just a whole lot of stuff going on. The program's broken. The video board at Doak is broken.
And
Which
now our call-in is broken. Let me
I'm going to hide the number then for now.
yeah, hold on. Everybody hold tight. I think I just put the wrong number in the banner.
I hope someone just got a call and was like, "Hello."
Yeah, I'm hoping that's true too.
Oh man, we are winging it tonight, brother. Here's the thing, though. Here's the fun thing about winging it. We're just human beings. We're out here doing a show. We're not no inside info, no contacts, no problem, no equipment, no expertise, no phone numbers. We're gonna get there, though. I promise. We're gonna
Okay,
get
here we
there.
go. Sorry about that. I had fat fingered a number on the banner.
Someone just got a very angry call from a Florida State
Yes.
fan saying,
Say,
"Why
hey,
is
is this
Florida State
Garnet
losing?"
Old? I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
Hey, let us know
Someone
in the
score.
comments if anyone picked up when you dialed that number, guys. I want to know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Some more comments here. Grillmaster, I've been taking a break this season. Too much disappointment in general. Yes, but Grillmaster, you have been going to games.
Mm.
Have you not? Or is that? Oh, I'm getting that confused with Mahi Griller. Sorry, Mahi Griller has been going to games. How are we? Kenny Trill agrees with you, Ryan. How are we getting to 260 yards? Okay. The O line is a disaster and not much hope, but divine intervention. Man, do you think? Last week I thought we had, there was a chance because North Carolina is
Awful. Yeah.
well below average, and we couldn't do anything there. And who was it that scored 70 points on them? It was ridiculous. And then, Notre Dame is quite a few steps above that. So, yep, less than 30 point or less than 20 points. 260 yards max. And I don't know.
Vince, were you surprised that no one got fired this week?
I was a little surprised that something didn't. I call Ryan.
Let's see how it goes. Vince is trying to make the live call happen. Let's see what we got.
We should have Doyle on the line. Excellent, Doyle.
I can't hear it, Vince.
Oh, well, what do you got for us, Doyle?
I'm gonna do a Doyle impression here in a little bit. Because Doyle, for those of you who don't know who Doyle is one of our
Everybody
close.
can hear him but you, Ryan.
How's that possible?
Right?
Vince. I'm watching the broadcast. No one can hear him.
No one can hear it. Oh, Doyle, something's going on, brother. Yeah, the only thing positive is the kickers. You are correct, by the way. That's the only thing that's positive. And the camaraderie and the getting together. Uh, those are the only things that are keeping me going for sure.
So here's the thing, guys. While we're doing this live, I would want to remind everyone hit like and subscribe so you can watch whenever we have this amazing content for all of you guys out there. We should, there's this thing called beta testing, and that's what we were doing tonight. So we appreciate you guys for being good sports. I'm glad I popped over because we were about to listen to Vince just being quiet for like 6 minutes, which would have been hilarious. Vince, are you still on with Mr. Doyle here?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. My man Vince out here.
You couldn't hear me before.
We could hear you the whole time you were talking to Doyle. We just couldn't hear Doyle.
So Doyle, I'm sorry. There's something going on with the phone thing. We were gonna have to get that worked out, and that is my fault. And then the phone kind of went dead on me there. So there's some weird stuff going on with Google Voice.
Need a lot of work.
Sorry about that, Doyle. We will do another call-in show once we get this figured out. We're struggling everywhere.
Vince, I want to talk about something else. And you're not going to be happy with me.
Weren't we talking about the coaches getting fired or not getting fired?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. I didn't think it would happen for assistant coaches. Guys, I'm going to be real with you. Vince is completely in a different camp than me on this. Completely. I think we will lose to Charleston Southern. I think Mike Norvell will be fired after Charleston Southern. That's where I'm standing on this. Now, if he doesn't lose to Charleston Southern, I don't think he gets fired. But I don't think if you go out there and at home and lose to Charleston Southern, you can possibly keep your job. I think it's a dereliction of duty, and you would have to be fired at that point. But Vince disagrees. Tell me why, Vince.
Because it's not just about this year. It's about the whole picture, and you can't just forget about last year. Ryan, if you took your job to heights it had not seen in a decade almost, and everything is good, and then you had a significant downturn the following year. There would be it wouldn't be an automatic like, hey, let's get rid of this guy. There have to be discussions to be had. You have to look at the whole picture. You can't just look about the right now. And a lot of people are looking at the right now and the pain they're feeling right now. And I get it. And I understand that it's a, what have you done for me lately kind of thing. But you cannot throw out what was accomplished and make a knee-jerk reaction on the tragedy that is this year.
I'm gonna steelman this. So I think that in most jobs, if you had a sharp enough downturn, it would end in either you leaving or someone saying that's it, that's enough. And the reason why I have that, because I believe that in my career, in my past, I've had that very moment in which I personally was responsible for a dramatic downturn of events and lack of accountability and lack of doing the right things and moving the ball forward. And I believe that based on conversations, I was about to be told to have a good day, and instead I left the situation before it got to that. Now, I think a lot of jobs are like that.
Yeah, but you're right. A lot of jobs are like that, Ryan, except that a lot of jobs are not guaranteeing you $10 million a year,
I
even
would
if
have
you work.
loved if that had been the case.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been
Then,
fantastic for me.
yeah, but that's why that's another reason why this is different. And it's a major reason why this is different. All things being equal, if they didn't owe him any money because of the suckage,
Oh,
then
doesn't this come down to
there's more appetite to let him go.
if you lose to Charleston Southern? I don't know how any university official can think that he's the one that can fix it, because people keep saying he earned with his performance in his back. Well, just as much as you earn the success and the glory, you also have to deal with this downturn. Now, here's the thing. In my opinion, based on Florida State's um, expectations and what we're expected to do at a place like Florida State, Vince, I think the adjustments that you're talking about and the conversations that you're talking about should have happened 5 games ago. Meaning, this is, at 3 losses or 4 losses, it should have been, we're telling multiple guys to have a good day, or at least one or two for sure. And we better see a dramatic change in how we're calling the game to try to do the best we can with what we do have. And I didn't see that. So to me, that comes into the play of an employee that is not only not making changes and not changing how he's doing things, but believes that and he said this, Vince, he has said this repeatedly. He says, if I keep doing what I know is the right thing every day, and I know, uh, you know, has worked in the past, that I believe that this will get right. We have to get better. This reeks to me of a coach that believes if he just keeps at it and he just keeps going to work and put in the effort in the same way he's been doing things, that it will turn around. If not this year, then next year. I'm the kind of guy that I believe that stubbornness, and he should have by now said, whatever I've done, the way I've called the game, the way I've hired, whatever it is, whatever I've done is not working clearly. And you would have already seen dramatic changes. Vince, if I put myself in that head coaching position, I would have made dramatic changes in the offense that we're running, because clearly we don't have the hosses to run my traditional offense. I would have been running Wildcat. I would have been doing some wild stuff, putting my best athlete, even if they're a freshman, out in the field and doing some crazy plays that maybe gets them out in space. And I probably would have fired one or two of the guys on my staff just as a show that I take it seriously. He has done nothing, Vince.
Yeah,
Zero adjustments. Zero.
I know. By the
Not
way,
one wildcat play.
Keep an eye on the comments, Ryan, just because they're coming in. But again, people, they're not coming into the studio, so I can't post them. But we are reading them. If Florida State is going to be the type of university where the hierarchy starts dictating to the head coach what happens on a day-to-day, game-by-game, play-by-play basis, I don't think you want that in your university. So let's just start. Let's just start there.
We do have a super chat, Vince.
I see it. Okay. Let me read that real quick. Jeff Hill, can't defend this year, is a horrible, horrible year. But if you're going to fire a coach every time they have a setback here, then we'll end up like Miami or Nebraska and not be relative for 20 plus years. Yeah. I tend to agree with that. Jeff, again, I can't put it up on screen, but I
A
But thank
setback
you.
is 6-6. Thank you for the contribution, but a setback is
Yeah.
6-6.
Yeah, but so that's the first thing is that the head coach is the head coach, and when you have non-coaches dictating what you do at practice and in games and game planning, that's not what you want. You're not going to attract the best coaches by doing that. Secondly, if you're going to let coaches go in the middle of a season, you have to weigh that against, against what does that really benefit the team in that moment? And you can say, well, it doesn't matter because we're just trying to set a precedent that what is happening here is not acceptable. The deal is Randy Shannon should have been let go prior to this year, right? At the very least, he should have been let go.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen. So now, do you let him go in the middle of the season?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have someone to handle that unit that you trust? That I mean, they're already terrible. I guess you could say they're already not performing where they should. So, what would getting rid of a coach do to it? I don't know.
I have an answer for that.
I, I
I want to.
do. I do have confidence, and this is the only way I can sleep at night when it comes to my team. I do have confidence that when this season is over, that you are going to see a significant change in the staff. And if there isn't a significant change in the staff, then Mike Norvell is who you say or who you think he is. And that would mean that he is a coach that can't see past his own ego and stubbornness and is really not looking to get 1% better every day like he preaches. And he may be that, Ryan. But until the end of this year, and I thought we might, if there was going to be some coaching changes, it would have happened after we got blasted by Miami.
I just feel that these are his players. The whole roster's his now, based on how long he's been here. His offense, his portal decision, DJU. I don't want the guy that's made all these decisions to make any more decisions for me. And I think you have seen coaches. I'm going to use Billy Napier as an example here. If you had told me, Vince, 2 games in the season that Billy Napier would still be around, and you told me their record right now, I would say no way. They're awful. They're a joke. He changed a ton of what they run and the looks that they give
Really?
mid-season.
I don't know about that.
I mean, he did if you watch the games.
No, not really. Their players have gotten better. That I see.
And do you think let me ask you this, do you think his assistant coaches are these elite minds in the game? Do you think Billy Napier is this elite mind in the game?
No.
So if non-elite coaches can find a way to help their players improve and put them in better positions to succeed, why can't our head coach and our mediocre assistant coaches do anything close to that?
It's a great question, Ryan. Because I want to really call it the perfect storm because that's too much of a cop out. But you have a number of things that have conspired at the same time. Some of it not in the control of the coach, but a lot of it is. A lot of it is. And that all comes together. And then you have what you have, which is a lackluster roster, right? I'm sorry, hold on. A very shallow, lackluster roster
That the coach believed was elite at the beginning of the year.
That not just him, Ryan.
No, but that's the only one that I care about because everyone else is just media and other people. But the coach himself, who brought these players here, thought that this roster
Yeah,
was elite.
I get what you're saying, but there are people that are well trusted and well liked and well whatever that said the same thing. So I don't want to say let it pass because it's not just about that he misread their abilities. He misread their cohesion. That to me is the probably the biggest red flag for me, that he misread their buy-in and cohesion as a unit and their ability to play for each other and to play, with an edge and all those things that are intangibles. This team doesn't have any of that as a team. There might be an individual or two that have it.
Let me ask you from a big picture, top level view. What do you think, Vince, big picture, is the cause of the most likely scenario of why pieces didn't come together? And I think it's because you over relied on the transfer portal. And now you have a coach telling you in the press conferences, we're going to have to even more so over rely on the transfer portal in this offseason. Now, I do want to shout out Jeff because Jeff's bringing the love tonight. I don't know. Jeff's feeling good.
Jeff's feeling real good. Jeff, maybe we can take these donations that you've given and fix our call-in show problem we had. But Jeff Hill says his coaching tree is pretty good. He has coaches that were on his staff or coaching elsewhere are successful. So I think you give this same coach a chance to hire new coaches and see what happens. That's exactly what's going to happen. Is he's going to be here, but Jeff Hill, thank you so much for your second donation of the evening. And again, I'll just remind people I can't put them up on screen because something's funky with the studio.
So, in your view, in a one-off season following a 13-0 season, there is nothing akin from the head coach breaking some kind of law that is a fireable offense, in your opinion, if he went 13-0 the previous season.
A fireable offense?
Yeah, like he's not punching players. Nothing like that. I'm saying like in-season performance, there's nothing that a coach can do if they went 13-0 the previous year to make you want to fire a coach.
Here's what I think, Ryan. I do believe, regardless of what anyone says, I do believe that the athletic department, their confidence is shaken in him. Absolutely. I believe that. Mm-hmm. Mine is. But I also know that they're not going to knee-jerk fire him. They're just not going to do that.
Would it be knee-jerk?
Yes.
Wasn't Willie Taggart knee-jerk?
A totally different scenario. We don't want to go down that road.
I mean, I could make the argument.
But what argument would you make? Because not only he
won a year and a half in,
he won a game or two that mattered, but ultimately the organization within the program that he was in charge of was in complete shambles. Right?
He won more than Mike Norvell did this year.
But it wouldn't have played out that way.
It
wouldn't have played out long term.
I might be on the wrong side of this, and probably a lot of you might even call me out on this, but I think there's other components to that firing that if Willie Taggart's name was on this year and he had a 13-0 season last year, that firings would have had.
Okay, we're going to briefly talk about that. Ryan, do I believe that there is racism in this world? Yes, because there is. We all know that there is. And do I think that there are people in the Florida State fan base that have racist tendencies to them? Yes, I believe that. Does that mean if you just take this cross section across people in general? That means that within Florida State University, are there racist people? Yes, there are. So you take the cross section even more. Are there racist people within the athletic department? Numbers and statistics tell you that that's probably true. Ryan, I'm telling you, they did not. It was not a racially motivated.
No,
They didn't.
unconscious bias is a thing.
No, it is. But Ryan, I'll tell you what's not an unconscious bias is not having your hotel rooms prior to going to the Notre Dame game. That's not an unconscious bias. That's a fact. The disorganization and the lack of understanding how to put it all together is the reason they saw the iceberg, Ryan.
We can agree to disagree on the point. I think his iceberg
He
led
let
to more wins than this. It's true. You can't. It's irrefutable.
with way better players.
Oh no. Oh my! That offensive line, Willie Taggart's offensive line.
Forget about the offensive line, Ryan.
James Blackman.
You're talking about recruits that were still here from Jimbo.
There's recruits on this team that played on last year's 13-0 team. I think it's just as damning for Mike Norvell.
I'm not saying it's not damning. I'm just saying that you're equating something that's not equal.
I mean, I can believe on my own personally that there was a little bit of that to his situation. Because even coaches, even coaches who are,
you're allowed to believe that, Ryan. Everyone's allowed to believe what they want to believe.
The reason why I believe this, there's other coaches around the entire country that are disorganized and don't have their crap together and are not good coaches, and they end up getting fired, but they generally get fired in year 3. He was a year and a half is not a fair shake for anyone in college football. It just isn't.
Hey, the captain of the Titanic saw the iceberg too late. The captain of the Florida State program saw the iceberg and made a change.
Hey, but here's the thing. We're all friends here. I do want to mention one thing. So, Jeremy, we are a channel that will have disagreements. I can tell you for a fact that I know 100%. Vince and I are probably on 2 very different platforms of political beliefs. And guess what? Vince, we're still friends. We hang out. We like each other. So if you are in this channel, the only people I want watching our videos are the people who are willing to accept all different opinions, as long as it's not anything wild or crazy. But I want people in our channel to understand that Vince and I can talk about things that are on the edge based on our opinions and our life experiences, and can still be friends at the end of the day and still want to support each other. So, Jeremy, I hate to say it, my friend, but if you can't have one person on a channel disagree with the other about an issue that you disagree with, I'm sorry.
I don't think that he's saying it in that realm. Knowing him, I wish that coaches' contracts bore out the meritocracy that it should be. By the way, if you want to know more about that, check out our members only show. But because that would have meant, when Willie Taggart was let go for his lack of ability to run a major program, that we weren't going to be bled dry in the meantime. He also did not last too long at his next stop, as you know, which is a much smaller program, and couldn't get that thing organized. I got no problem with Willie Taggart. He's a Nole fan, right?
He's getting paid handsomely in the NFL.
And that's great. I'm happy for him. But it's not, he just wasn't the type of person as a coach to run a major program. Mike Norvell remains to be seen, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Let me say this too, though. He's making his own bed. Like, the bed is, there's not a lot, there's not a lot of wiggle room here.
Do you think, Vince, look big picture, regardless of what Norvell did in his past. Vince, I was praising Norvell last year. I was praising him the year before. The year before, when we went 6 wins, I said, "Oh man, we're getting there. I think I'm seeing improvement." If he loses out, I'm not saying he will, but I believe if we were watching another program and we weren't FSU fans, we'd be saying they got to fire that guy. He's 1-11. I believe we would say that about other programs. I think we don't say that because we're FSU fans and we're too close to the pie. If Miami's coach, even though we'd be like, man, they should keep him, haha, because we want to beat him up, but inside we would say there's no way Mario Cristobal, even this year, let's say Mario does great this year. If next year they went 1-11, we'd be like, they're going to fire his ass. We would say that. You know we would.
I would. I don't know that I would. I would, man, you cannot forget about last year. You literally have forgotten about an undefeated season. You've forgotten about that. You've forgotten about the coach that put it together.
I think in hindsight, it's not forgetting about it. In hindsight, what I believe the last season was, first of all, Jordan Travis was already on the roster. He brought in Mackenzie Milton because he thought Jordan couldn't play. We can agree with that. He brought in Mackenzie Milton to start because he thought Jordan Travis couldn't throw. So hold on.
Let me also early in Jordan's career.
Let me finish the overall thought. So it's not like he was like this secret plot that he thought like Jordan was going to be this 13-0 quarterback. He wouldn't have brought in one-legged McKenzie if he thought Jordan Travis was the second coming, right? And I think he hit all at the same time. He had a quarterback that happened to be great when he finally got the opportunity. And he hit on, let's be honest, I watched football, NFL, and you're looking at 3 guys. Keon Coleman's out there tearing it up for the Bills. Keon Coleman, we knew he was going to be good. He was the one transfer that we're like, yeah, that guy's going to be good. Look at what he's already done. Johnny Wilson was a drop machine. When he came here, we were like, hopefully he's tall. That's good. And he seems like a good athlete, but we've heard a lot of rough things about him. I think it is a amazing jackpot of hitting the lotto, scratch off, and getting all the guys at the exact right time. Just like Jimbo got at the same time, all those dudes that were competitive, and we won in 2013. If I had told you, Vince, now we can't see into the future. If I had told you what the final years of Jimbo Fisher's days would have been, I think you would also have said, yeah, I would have forgotten pretty quickly if I knew that was coming. We would have won the title in the second we saw downturn. Now, Jimbo's downturn was like 7 wins or 8 wins. I think he hit the lottery. He scratched off. He hit 3 cherries. Man, that was awesome. We went 13-0, but I think that's what it was. I really do.
Does he get credit for recruiting those guys?
Everyone gets credit, but he also gets credit for not recruiting to replace those guys.
Okay.
He's responsible for 2 of the worst FSU records in all time.
There's no doubt, right? I'm not giving him a pass for that. I'm also saying that it's very revisionist history because things are so bad right now to go back in time and look at the successes and attribute it to something other than dumb luck. It's revisionist.
There's one quarterback that had him that we won with. I sent you, I think it was a couple weeks ago, all his quarterbacks that he's had here at Florida State.
I know the list, Ryan. I know the list. That's why I'm telling you, I'm not married to Mike Norvell. I'm married to the program, which is why program first contracts should come to be. I keep pushing this.
You can offer it to Deion Sanders.
I'm married to the program. I do not care who the coach is. I don't care. as long as, they are doing what they're supposed to do and representing the university in the right way, that's what I want. Okay. So whether it's Mike Norvell or anybody else, I'm not married to him. What I'm saying is this is it for him. You can put it together, whether you want to call it the lotto or not, that's fine. It happened. You can't go back and say it didn't happen. It happened. This season happened. Next season is pretty much it. I don't think, unless it's a major turnaround next year, I don't think he's going to be here. And I'm okay with that. But I think it would be very reactionary for them to make that move this season.
If he sucks next year and they fire him next year, would you have wished they fired him this year? Because you're saving about $9 million.
No.
So it's worth $9 million for him to potentially blow it next year.
It's worth that. You want to talk about risk. If you want to balance the risk, it is worth the risk knowing that he has succeeded in the past. It's worth the risk to keep him and shuffle everything else or as much as you can below him. That money is worth the risk. Yes, I believe it is.
So the good news is we're at a point where I think Vince at the end of the season, winless, even if we go not another win, Mike will still be here. Ryan, if we go not with another win, Mike won't be here. That's where we're at, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, I've been wrong before. I thought Mike Norvell, and now I wish, was going to Alabama, as Jeremy loves to point out. Love you, Jeremy. But here's the thing, Vince. I hope you're right. I hope that Mike Norvell has the ability to turn this program around. But overriding that in me is pessimism and doubt that there's a whole lot of, I can look back and say, was that a Garnet mirage, or was it real?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I obviously hope that he turns it around too. I'm not optimistic that there's going to be a big enough change from this year to next as far as success is concerned to make that happen. The recruiting, the high school recruiting, regardless of what, many will say, his. Hi, everybody.
I did it again, then.
His lack of having, top-notch recruiters on his staff has come home to roost. The chickens have come home to roost, Bobby Boucher. We'll see.
It feels a lot like Jimbo's staff situation.
Jimbo was with other programs. Jimbo wasn't doing his job, and he wasn't doing anything. Mike is at least laying awake at night trying to figure out.
Do we know that?
Huh?
Do we think that, or do we know that?
I can only go by the people that know him way better than me.
The only other point I need to make on the how I get to my opinion of if we didn't win another game, that would happen is a whole lot of, the recruiting class is done. Even more bad news today. You get to a point where you can't afford not to make a change.
Well, yeah, here's my thought on the recruiting class. People that follow that. And I follow it. But it's gone. Don't let it emotionally tax you. This season is already crappy enough. Whoever it was, unless they're a generational talent, wasn't going to help this team next year anyway. So that is those are just the facts. Mm-hmm. So if you were thinking that we're losing this great class and we really needed them for next year, that's not the way it works with, 999 out of 1,000, freshmen. You get the one every now and then that, is going to make a difference. Now, does that put us behind for 2026 and 2027? Sure. But I wouldn't waste too much emotion and energy on this recruiting class. It's lost. It's lost.
I do want to read one comment that I think is, check my math, Norvell. Will Norvell be 32-30 at FSU since 2020? Yes, he will.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. That's why where I come back to this. Man, you really hit the jackpot with the right players at the right time on the right year.
For 2 years.
There were some moments in that.
And the first couple years, there was improvement, Ryan. We can't just lump it all together and say 32-30. Yes, those are the end of the game facts. But you have to look at it from the trajectory too, do you not?
You can. I don't think any of us are saying that one of these stats is the stat of all stats and nothing else matters. So you can take into account what you see this year and say, okay, you rule out the last 2 years, which you can't. That you can do a little line graph, right? But most coaches, even when they have struggles, go like this. Mike Norvell went off the charts. Vince, we've seen some really good programs. Their step back of a really horrible year that coaches have lost their job for has been 5 wins or 6 wins. And 1-11, if that's in the cards, that's no
It's
program.
Unacceptable, Brian. It's unacceptable. At Florida State University, it's unacceptable.
And I think that's why I would say if that happens, that it's done. Because unacceptable is different than on the wrong track. That I differentiate 4 or 5 wins from 1. I just do. And we probably should have lost that one game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, people are saying like how many coaches should be let go and all this kind of thing. And as many as it takes, because Mike Norvell, you don't watch Garnet Old. You should, by the way. I think you would enjoy it. But Mike Norvell, your tenure and legacy as the head of one of the top programs in the country is on the line.
Yeah,
let them go. Get rid of them.
Especially when next year you play Alabama, Florida, Clemson, Miami, Pitt, Virginia.
Yeah. Not looking great. That's what I'm saying. That's why my confidence in a major turnaround is not great.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So that's a good place to stop. Thanks for participating. A lot of chat, a lot of involvement, which is what we want.
We thought we weren't going to have anything to talk about tonight, Ryan.
Occasionally you get naturally developing, engaging conversations, and that's what this was.
Yeah, we apologize for not being able to get the comments in. We're not sure what's going on with that. I will reach out to support on the studio. But yeah, this has been a really fun discussion. And when Ryan and I are on polar opposite sides, it's not often, but when it is,
especially not in football,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, guys, for turning in. Send Chiefs all the damn time. And, of course, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. Rest in peace, Ben the dog.
Yeah.
That's sad. Ben. Even though we had fun with it, I never like to see any dog die. So rest in peace, Ben.
Bad news.
We will see you guys next week.
Go Noles.
Go Noles, everyone.